That angle looks better now.
Step up. Mic check.
1 2 1 2.
Step up the
Hello,
mic check. 1
hello,
2.
everybody.
Here we go. Right, are you
Hello.
ready?
Yeah.
Are you... 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's now a really bad time to say I need to go to the loo.
Yes. If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together because today's the day that Jenny does. The Monday Club, don't prod me, I am not well.
Oh, any old excuse.
Damn right. What do you expect? No, don't prod me. If I, I pulled muscles. Don't make me feel ill.
You've pulled muscles that hold other muscles in place.
I have.
So a big hello to everybody. Hello to Jennifer Horton, Leslie Gilpin Railways, Flymer Chairman 1, David, It's My Mother Railway, and Zoe's just made it smaller. So Robert Cesare, Ruben Ashwell, Joe Smith, Skipsy Trains, Peter Jackson, Cheadle Heath, Patrick Ling, Richard Swiderski, Donget's Mother Railway, Ralph Davey, Robert Cesare, David, It's My Mother Railway, Jerry BVR, Egg Rider, Nigel Cole, H. Walker Steam and Heritage Rail Vids, Ham Shackleton, Ian O'Brien, Leslie Gilpin Railways, Within Model Railway, Richard Swiderski, Josh's Railway Adventures, Robert Becking, Malcolm Moore, Stevie Films, Simon Trent's Mother Railway Showcase, Harry Sedgwick, Ian Turvey, Tim Maslin, Dean Fielding, Ruben Ashwell, Smallwood Junction, Warbler Productions, Mark, Gone Loco, Nigel Cole, Tom L, Larry Rogers, good day to you too, and Tim's Mother Railway in different videos. Nos with da.
Yeah,
so
people saying that camera is out of focus.
This camera has been out of focus for ages, and
if we go to a different one, the others are actually in focus, aren't they?
I think there's a fault with the camera. It's not focusing for some reason, and it did that early on. So I don't know how horrible it actually looks.
It's a little blurry, but it's not massively bad.
Yeah, well, on our tiny, titchy little screen, it's not too bad. But I'm afraid nothing I can do.
Apart from switch it for a different camera.
Big hello to Kev McKay, 85, Mo Hatchet. Do I want to what?
Do you want a different camera? I'll go and get one.
No, there's a spare one down there, actually. So, anyway, anywho, so it's really great to see everybody. I hope I find you well. And, well, what news do we have? Well, we didn't have a Monday Club last week, it must be said. What are you doing?
Pass me the green finger.
Right.
I'm seeing if I can force a camera to focus. Yeah.
How out of focus is it? Is there, you need to move it back towards yourself. Yeah. So, green,
it's short-sighted.
So you're saying we need to put maybe the lens is moved.
Yeah, look at that.
So
it's coming out of focus. But if I bring it up to here, it's in focus. It's short-sighted.
So what it is actually it's stuck at a particular focal length. It's not doing the focusing thing. So maybe that's something to investigate. I suspect that the camera has decided to break. Unfortunately, one of the pitfalls when you have so many cameras, there's always one, isn't there? Always one.
Yeah, there's always one.
Yeah. So anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, news.
Ooh, ranch dressing.
Yeah. We've had a lot of news from Daypol, actually, as much as anything else. So, Daypol announced 3 new O-Gauge products at the O-Gauge show over the weekend. So, we've got forthcoming I think it's an AA19 towed brake van, several different versions, and that looks really good, but £94 RRP did catch my eye, and it's like, that's like basically about double what the very first brake van that Daypol announced in O-Gauge, which was the pillbox. So unfortunately, this is just the way it is. And of course, as you may have noticed in today's title, basically, is it becoming too expensive? And I know that people go, well, you know, it costs this much to manufacture in China. But a big thank you to Mark. Very, very kindly has donated $5 says get a Billy's replacement camera. Well, I'm sure we got a potato.
I'm actually going to switch it out.
With which one?
The second one from my office.
Why?
Because that one is...
What, you're going to actually sit in its focal length?
I'm right next to where it needs to be for my focal
Okay,
length.
well, not right now.
I didn't say right now. I am too ill to do it right now. But would you like a cup of tea?
I would love a coffee, thank you very much.
What kind of coffee would you like?
We
have standard, we have a double choc mocha, we have cappuccino, we have decaf cappuccino.
You're going to be saying, how would you like? Would you like that in a mug, in a pot, in a
Injected
scooter?
straight into your veins?
Oh yeah, maybe. But anywho, other O-gauge wagons. Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Would you like a coffee?
Yes.
Which one?
The one I like. Is there any more of the Bailey's ones?
No, we drank them all.
Any more of the mochas?
Yeah, I'll get you a mocha.
Okay, you do that. So there's also been O-gauge Southern elliptical roof van has been announced, and finally also the GWR Mogo van. So big hello to J94 as well, Trackside Mike, who says the layout looks great, Jenny. Thank you very much. Worthington Model Railway says afternoon everyone from Minnesota. And big hello to you too. You're very, very close to Sakan of Patterson country there. I think you're the next state along. Although that's like saying, you people in Bolton in the UK. You're
very close to Germany.
Yes, you're next door to Hamburg. It's like, no.
Jenny Jenkins, I'm going to bring up a camera here.
Sorry, kid.
That will, in a moment, show off this new stuff.
What new stuff?
Coming round. What are these?
They were being shown because I'd moved that other camera. So basically you're going to see over here somewhere the all-new Acura scale children wagons. Now we do have a full video on that coming out.
Beep, beep.
On Wednesday, very, very kindly had 3 packs sent over by Acura scale. Really interesting little wagons. Let's see, can we find... let's just see if we can find them on some of the other cameras. They will come up behind the text in a moment. Big hello to James Petts, who says, I approve of stuff. I do as well, actually. So we've got the Acura scale children wagons coming around. In fact, I'm going to select camera 4 because that gives the best view of anything on that line. So when it does eventually come round on that top level, you will see the Acura scale children's, and it always, my brain goes, are you trying to say children? Because if you don't,
cauldron.
Yeah, is it cauldron or is it children?
It's not children in a cauldron.
Oh my word!
It
Big
season.
Thank you to George Botterini, who's
my
very,
goodness.
very kindly donated $9.99 for the coffee fund. Oh, thank you very much. Jerry BVR says, top of the milk too, yeah, J94. I can't do an Irish accent unless I go far to Father Ted. Now, one of the interesting things...
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you. And there's lots and lots of Irish people now cringing.
Yes.
But, anywho... meanwhile, back on the ranch, we've got these 3 great new items announced from Daypol, and also the HEA wagons have finally made it through. I've seen them being announced. And Joe Smith, absolutely, only 46 likes, but over 200 people watching. Do please tickle the like button. Excellent. And James Pett says, I approve of Father Ted. Ted, it's really mad, Ted. But, right, what else is in the news? Hatton's Genesis coaches are arriving, although I went actually to have a look and see what's still left available, and there's nothing showing in stock. I don't know whether that's because at the moment they're still in the process of dealing with orders and then what's left will go up live. I don't know, but there's nothing showing as available to buy in stock at the moment. Valley's 56XX says, down with that sort of thing. Careful now. Bus and Train Man DMS 1515 says, I always love Irish people. Absolutely lovely bunch. Lovely bunch of lads. James Pett says, we put a brick on the accelerator. That was the Speed parody, wasn't it? Oh, I do love a bit of Father Ted. Hey. Right. Worthington Model Railway says, waiting for my 2 9Fs I ordered to arrive. I've seen a lot of photographs and videos of the 9Fs turning up. They do look really, really good. One other thing which I have been sent for review, but I'll be honest and say I've got to send it back. It arrived with a seized motor. The Class 56 from Hornby, they have all started turning up as well. So there's the box. But unfortunately, as I said, review sample, and it turned up with a seized motor. Now, I did manage to get it to run, having dismantled it, took the motor out, managed to unseize it. But there's something catching badly physically inside the motor. So that's why that's not running at the moment, but they have made it through. And interestingly enough, it has got the 21-pin chassis. Although to the best of what I can see, there's no change to the rest of the electrics. So we haven't gained anything like cab lights, although the insides of the cabs have some lovely decoration, which does seem a bit wasted that they haven't put a light in there to show it off. Southern Train Girl, big hello to you. Hope you are well too. Stevie Films says Dapol and Acura Scale are doing a better job reprices than the others. Yeah, Acura Scale have been really putting stuff out at some really quite keen prices. So the 3-pack of the children wagons are coming in at, I can find them under £45, and there'll be an affiliate link to Rails. That's where I'm finding them at that. But generally across the board, anywhere that's stocking the Acura Scale wagon seems to be having them at just like pennies under £45. But what's interesting is that at the moment, the value of the pound has been falling, and it's come down from some highs that it occasionally reaches of $2.50 to the pound, and we're now approaching parity. It went down to nearly parity. I saw it reach $1.04 to the pound earlier today. It's climbed back up to $1.08. But what does that mean? Well, everything that's coming out of China is priced in dollars. That's what all the UK companies are having to pay the Chinese factories. They want payment in dollars. The world's reserve currency happens to be the US dollar, and it means that as the exchange rates fluctuate, all goods change in, well, theoretically change in price. You notice they never go down, they only go up. But it was an interesting thing I was thinking about today, the way that prices have gone. The Class 56 from Hornby, RRP, £217.99. And it did leave me wondering about the actual economics of manufacturing things again in the UK. David Scott says, good evening, please tell Gandalf I'm late. I think he's helping with the coffee, so I'm sure he'll chip in when he gets back. But Stevie Film says LT Museum announced 2014 S stock, £595 for a 4-car set. The manufacturers can make all the excuses regarding costs, but they need to significantly reduce prices, otherwise the hobby will die. I don't think that actually they can in a lot of aspects. And I think that there's an element that what it may end up actually doing is seeing China priced out of the market. Oh, come on! Oh, come on, you stupid thing! So we've lost one of the cameras already. That really, that irritates me. Right. So what it could well actually mean is that we see production start to move away from China. And the reason for this is because if the price of buying stuff from China keeps going up and up and up, not just because of currency fluctuations, but because they're paying people more over there, they've got to compete with the likes of Apple and Android, who are making phones so they can afford to pay big money. So in order to get the staff, the likes of the companies that are making the model railway stuff have to pay higher and higher wages. There comes a point where it's no more expensive to manufacture something, say in the UK. And we've already seen Daypol have been starting to make things in the UK that may have historically over the last 20 years have been manufactured in China. Dongit's Model Railway says the Chinese also keep putting their workers in lockdowns and even quarantine camps too. Absolutely, still dealing with the COVID scourge. James Pett says, I suspect that moving production away from China would take a long time. There is that as well, but Daypol have proven that you can reliably manufacture things in the UK. A lot of the decoration, for example, on some of their O-gauge items, like the containers on the conflats, they are made and finished, so including the printing in the UK. And I think what we might see is the viability of making more things in the UK. That doesn't necessarily mean complicated things like locomotive. I don't think even that means that prices would come down. What it actually means is that you may find that prices stabilise. And Davil says the OO Works UK-made locos don't look so expensive now. And there is that. There are benchmarks. There are very small manufacturers that make stuff in the UK. And it's interesting to see how the prices of those now compare with what's coming in from China. And James Petts rightly points out also China and UK are not the only possible places to make things. And one of the areas I think was ripe for exploitation, you're looking at places like Brazil, looking at places like South Africa, looking at places like India as well. And I know that Airfix did for a while manufacture things in India, some of the plastic kits. I don't know whether that's continuing, but it is the case that India has been looked at. Now, the Chinese have really got things down to a T. They know what they're doing, and they've got good quality for a lot of these models. And it's really a case of, can other areas of the world compete with this? Now, I can remember when production of various things started to leave the UK. I remember Marks and Spencer's used to be a big deal. Made in the UK was their big selling point. And then all of a sudden they were making stuff abroad. It was interesting to see the chart of where they were going to exploit cheap labour. At one point, I remember Israel briefly was a place they went to. And also Sri Lanka was another place. I remember Malaysia. And things kind of gravitated towards China. And I suspect that there will come a point where China will develop to the point where it's no longer viable to make labour-intensive, low-skill items in China. And I think we're rapidly approaching that point. Now, in terms of second-hand, and I do want to talk a little bit about second-hand. Oh, somebody said they were late. Is Gandalf with you? I thought I heard the flapping of his hat as you were making coffee.
Here he comes. A Monday clubber is never late, Frodo Baggins, nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks, Gandalf.
You're welcome.
Stu Wallace, interesting, but Apple has moved to India. Martin Searsma says I think that meant to say LGB is made in China now. Big hello to Human City Junction, great to see you. 156 Andrew as well. Flymo Chairman 1 suggests Australia. And I suspect that Australia is going to have similar labour costs to what the UK has. We've lost Camera 5 for reasons unknown.
To be honest with you, I don't see Australia as being a viable thing. I know their currency is not strong compared to some others.
It's about the cost of labour more than anything else.
Yes, but their labour costs are reasonably high, and they are so far away from everything that transport costs...
Oh no, sorry, he said Austria. Yeah, I remember when...
Jen, there's a big difference between Australia and Austria.
Yeah, a couple of letters. But I remember Lima used to be made in Austria, and I can remember the Lima track back when I was young, so probably about 83, 84, saying made in Austria on the back. No bloody fly. Right.
At some point, we're going to have to accept a major thing, which is that our standard of living is based on exploiting cheap labour in faraway places.
That very much is the elephant in the room, isn't it? That
yes.
For us to have nice things at cheap prices, somebody else has to be getting screwed in the world.
Yes, and it's not fair.
And
it's
the problem
not a fair
is,
system.
after a while, they wise up to the fact that they're getting screwed, and companies have to find somebody else.
They look over at what's going on elsewhere and go, why can't we have that? Why can't we have the high standards? Why can't we have the high pay?
Yeah.
Why can't we have all the things that you have?
Yeah,
and there's no good reason they can't.
Andrew Graves says, I think Hornby Play Trains range is made in Vietnam. And yeah, Vietnam is another place that's the next place to be exploited, I guess.
Yeah.
And, this is nothing new. I can remember, there was a time when Japan was like the cheap...
Oh my goodness, yeah, everything was made in Japan.
Yeah, made in Japan. And I can remember in the early 80s, a lot of electronic goods being made in Japan and shipped over because it was cheap to produce them in Japan.
Stagflation they had.
Yeah, essentially, it was the way that currencies and labour costs were. It was comparatively cheap labour.
Yeah.
Dominic Zed, our Kickline correspondent, says Jenny Mattel announced the new wave of Hot Wheels Kickline character cars. So what do you think? I can't say I've got an opinion, to be honest, but it's not a range that I follow, it must admit.
I'll tell you one thing about Mattel. They don't pump a lot of money into a line unless they think it's going to sell, so it's probably going to be doing quite well.
Yeah, it's basically massive profits or don't bother at all with Mattel. Andy 1962 says Roco of Austria, Germany have had models manufactured in former Eastern European countries for many years. Yeah, Romania has quite a lot of stuff that gets made there. And one of the advantages of some of these locations is actually not just that the labour is cheaper than, say, here, but also you're looking at much shorter supply lines.
Yes.
And that's the double whammy on manufacturing in places like China, as the cost of shipping is also going through the roof. So you've got, basically, it's the triple lock of wages in China going up, adding to your direct costs. You've then also got the currencies falling against the dollar, which is, even with nobody else doing anything, nobody else is making any more money apart from the leeches in the banking world gambling on people's currencies and stock futures, and that's costing us all money. Where do you think all the money that these bankers actually, oh, look at us, we made $10 trillion speculating on the currency. Where do you think it comes from?
Did they talk while waving their hands like that?
They do. And the truth is, the money that they are making is coming out of your pocket through you paying higher prices.
They can get their hands out. My pockets are tight enough on my trousers.
And then also, come on, meanwhile back at the ranch, we also get increased shipping costs. You're looking at a 40-foot shipping container going from a number of years ago, you're looking at like $2,000 to ship it from China into Felixstowe. Now you're looking at closer to $18,000. That is a huge increase. Yeah. And you've already seen that certain manufacturers that were making bulky, lower volume goods cannot afford to ship from China. So things like garden furniture is not economical anymore to ship from China simply because of the amount of shipping container space it takes up. And Keith Whiting says, unfortunately, too true on the bankers.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it is the harsh and stark reality of the system that we live in that for banks to make money through things like gambling on commodities future, where you've all seen the film Trading Places. That pretty much sums up an element of what goes on.
Or for a more modern take, the film Margin Call.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that money isn't just free money created from thin air.
Yeah.
It comes from us ending up paying.
It's coming from you, and you too. You, especially you.
Yes. Yes.
So unfortunately, that is the issue. But my question is this a short-term thing or a long-term thing? Are we in this for the long haul at higher prices? Or is this something that we're going to have to weather for, let's say, 5, maybe 10 years?
See, I remember, I've lived through a number of recessions.
Yes,
and
you
it's
are
all
very
like
old.
doom and gloom and our way of life will change forever. And it tends not to.
Nothing ever lasts forever.
No. So, the hobby will survive. People were complaining that the hobby was dying out in the 1990s, and then we got these really high quality models at a really great price from China, and that changed the hobby, reinvigorated it. And that was probably about 1997, something like that.
Paul Murphy says, "I have a good bank joke. Was there no interest?"
Yes. Tim Maslin, prices won't go down. It's funny that, isn't it? How they're very quick to go up, very slow to go down. They say about fuel prices. It's like, the moment that the dollar pound fluctuates in a certain direction, boom, fuel prices go up. They fluctuate back. It's like, what happened to the fuel prices? Yeah.
Gordon Hanning says, "Can't get live stream on TV."
What? Is there anybody else having that problem?
Should be able to get live.
Skips.
If the YouTube app is working, it should be fine.
And that is actually a good point from Skipsy Trains. The end of the world was nigh in the 70s, an energy crisis for one. Yeah, that's before my time, but...
No, it isn't.
Yes, it was. It was like
You're from the
1974, something like that.
You're from the 70s.
The energy crisis, it was like, hydrocarbon-based energy is unsustainable, and we got through that. We came out the other end, and the same will happen again. Yeah, absolutely. Worthington Model Railway says, "I remember back around 2000 when FX was $2 to pound." What's FX? Was $2 to the pound.
Foreign exchange.
Oh, foreign exchange was $2 to the pound. And how much more expensive UK models seemed than now.
Yeah.
And it's something, if you multiply through by inflation, and this is the other little elephant in the room. There's a lot of elephants in this room. So forgive me if it gets
That's why it's so cramped.
It's very stuffy as well. And also elephants, when they fart, they really go for it. But if you multiply through by inflation, the price of models in the 1980s is actually about the same in real terms as they are now. So people are moaning about like 217 quid for a Class 56 from Hornby. What you've got to remember is that in real terms is what people were paying in the early 1980s.
Yeah, but you
what
haven't
were very
been paying
toy-like models.
But you haven't been paying that for a very long time. And that's kind of the issue, isn't it?
Yeah, this is something that I remember sitting down and having a chat with Simon Kohler about. And the reality was that if the cheap models coming through from China created an expectation that models were worth less than they were. And arguably, if the companies had had the foresight, they shouldn't have charged as little as they did, because it created this sense that, you know, you could get a brand new Class 25 from Bachmann for 30, 35, 37 quid was what they cost. You know, an ex-Lancashire and Yorkshire pug is like £21.50. You know, these are the sort of prices that I vaguely remember from around 2001. And, you know, it's...
And that was cheap.
Yeah, and it's a bit like you could argue, for example, I'm going to use Ben & Jerry's ice cream as an example. Now, Ben & Jerry's is known the world over.
Except in Israel, because they won't sell that.
Yeah, but I picked Ben & Jerry's for a really good reason. Here in the UK, Ben & Jerry's is often on sale, and then it's not on sale. And it's basically like a half-price sale. And what it's actually done is it's meant that people don't buy it at full price, because it's perceived that it'll be on sale in a week's time, we'll just stock up then, because that's all it's worth. And it created a perception that Ben & Jerry's ice cream wasn't worth any more than the sale price. You know, a bit like DFS, this DFS sofa sale. Nobody believed those full price prices, because nobody was buying at that, and it became an expectation that things were only worth what they were actually being sold in the sales for. So if you have sales, can be very damaging for your business, because they create perception that your product is not worth the premium price. And you could argue that manufacturing out in China, depressing the prices, created that expectation. And, you know, we've had 25 years of these models being initially quite cheap. And what it means is we now feel like they're too expensive.
Yeah.
But actually, they're about what they should have been if we'd have never had that cheap manufacturing blip. But it is an interesting point, and we've got, you know, this huge squeeze where lots of other things are going up in price. And, you know, what's going to give? You know, we've seen in the UK where gas and electric prices have potentially gone through the roof. You're talking like fourfold increase or more. And essentially, something's got to give, and a discretionary purchase like a hobby is going to be the thing that gives. You know, if you're faced with the choice of, can you put petrol in your car to get to work? Can you turn the heating on to heat your house? Can you feed yourself and your family? Or can you buy a new model train? I know which one gets cut out first, and that is going to be the problem. But second-hand items, I did try and talk about this earlier on, but I kind of got distracted, because I always do. And there are still some great second-hand prices. You know, I can remember when the Somerset and Dorset Joint Railway, the Austin 7, the 7F from Bachmann, was the first model whose RRP was over £100. And I remember that coming out at £103. God, what you would give for prices like that at the moment. But £103 was the RRP, so nobody paid that, because they're always discounted. Somebody's actually said, I think it might have gone off the top, about discounted prices. But I remember people saying, oh, people will never pay more than £100 for a locomotive. And now we've got locomotives pushing £300. So there we are. Worthington Model Railway says, in a similar vein, why does Hornby have an RRP when model shops always sell about 15 to 20% lower? I don't know. They've got to have an RRP. It's basically like, this is the benchmark. This is what we believe our items are worth.
Yeah. And
the wholesale price, as in the price that the model shop pays Hornby for their stock, is based on that RRP. Everybody chooses to discount because it's a bit like we talked about before with the Ben & Jerry's. people expect the discount. So if you don't give it, if you charge RRP, people go, oh, you're a rip-off, and buy it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because that level of discount just is become entrenched, and it's created the perception that the RRP is 15 to 20% overpriced.
Which is not a good thing.
I mean, that would be deeply unhealthy in like new car sales. If they can't discount these things massively, because certainly not on a regular basis, because it's a dangerous thing. It creates a perception that your product is worth less.
Yeah. I think, could you see it happening in toy sales? Which I know model trains aren't toys, but it's a close thing because essentially they're often a luxury and adults collect them. Is your average figure in a toy line £10 or is it £7? That kind of thing. So is this one that normally sells for £7 actually worth £10 when you find it and it's not discounted?
Right, let's have a look through some of the comments. So, Paul Murphy says the cost of electricity is shocking. Get the trombone out.
I'm actually losing my voice, so I can't. Sorry.
Jerry BBR says, sell the family, buy the trains, win-win. Route 7 Railway says, countries with lower wages also have much lower costs of living. It's similar to the difference in paying cost of living between London and, say, Liverpool. And not entirely true. I mean, you see a lot of places where it's almost subsistence living. And you could argue it's not unlike what the UK had in the 19th century, where people went to work at like 18-hour days, 6 days a week in a mill for money that actually wasn't enough to sustain the family.
Not just that. How many... do you want to tell everyone about what you saw when you were staying at a youth hostel in London overnight?
Oh yeah, I'd often wondered how it was possible for places that only paid minimum wage, like fast food places and that, how could they get staff in central London when you consider what it costs to live there? And a friend and I went down to see a band that we've been big into in the 1990s. They reformed for one night only, Rachel Stamp. We went to see them at the Electric Ballroom in Camden. And we stayed at this kind of like a hostel where there were huge dormitories, 30 beds to a dormitory, and you paid like £10 a night. And I suddenly realised that's where all these people were actually living because they could not afford a decent standard of life.
And that's London.
Yeah. So
that's the issue. And it comes back to what I was saying at the start. If you want a high standard of living with low prices, then someone else has to pay for it.
Yeah, and let's face it, the house that we live in, the lifestyle that we have, could not be paid for if I was only getting minimum wage.
Yeah.
It couldn't be done.
Yeah.
So I think the problem is that, cost of living might be lower, but in some of these countries, the people are outright being exploited because they're still being paid a wage that does not afford them a decent standard of living. I mean, look at me, I sound like a blooming socialist, but it's actually true.
And not to get on the politics drum too much, but this is the issue. This is why groups like socialists still manage to cling on, even though every single time it's tried, it doesn't work. It's because some people are getting exploited. And when you're being pushed by people that are too far to one side, the extremists on the other side start looking appealing.
It's not a healthy state of affairs.
It really isn't. We need to solve it, and it's a global thing.
Big hello to Barnabas Junction. Great to see you in. Mike Finch says, since last Christmas, all the items I've bought are used off eBay. But buying off eBay doesn't necessarily mean cheap. A number of times I've seen bidding wars break out on something that you could actually buy brand new elsewhere for far less than it goes for. You've got to know the value of things. And then you get items that are really hard to get. And I've seen some of those Queen Elizabeth II Merchant West Country class, basically Tor Valley in the purple livery. And they've been going for, I think in an extreme case, eBay Australia was there were listings of them where they were actually selling at $1,500, and certainly in the UK, I think £900 has been seen and realised and actually paid by some people for those models. So just because something's on eBay, you need to know what it's worth. But yes, there are bargains out there. And what I would say to you as well, new old stock, we bang on about this on the channel. Hereford Model Centre, we've largely picked it clean, unfortunately. I mean, it's sorry about this, but I know Mark Wilson will be like, no, we're bargains. But when I first started pointing out, like, hey, look at this place. They've got all this great stuff at a knockdown price because it's new old stock.
Whoops.
Finally, stop messing with the microphone.
I didn't mean to knock it,
well,
sorry.
Don't keep touching it. But it's... What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you pointing at?
I said not to keep touching it, so I'm just going to touch it once for a long time.
But also, I need to get through some of the B2000 Arrow Toys channels saying that they fixed the fault with their Class 28 Kobo. It has. Oh, there we are. Hi, Jenny. I fixed the short circuit. It's just moved. I fixed the circuit issue my custom Hornby Boko had. It's a Hornby 00 Class 28. I modified. They are quite simple and rugged and reliable. Yeah, they're pretty easy to fix. Glad you've got that fixed. Ralph Giles says, sorry about this, but another shout out for Engage. Feel the love for Engage. Engage. Dominic Z, our Kickline correspondent, says Jenny Carrera also announced a race set based on OKKO Let's Be Heroes. It includes Rad's van and Red Action's tank.
I have no idea what that is.
I'm afraid I don't either.
I'm starting to wonder, am I just old? Because yes, I don't know what these things are anymore. It's like when my younger cousin, he's 10 years younger than I am, started talking about Pokemon. And it's like, what are these things? There's a Jiggles and a Poofs and some kind of electric shock mouse.
Anyway,
what's going on?
DJK666, before it goes off the top, I've been going secondhand. It's easy to shop around with eBay. You know your limit and stick to it. Jerry BVR, eBay UK is no longer financially viable for us in Europe.
Not entirely.
And
you have to look around and be prepared to wait. I still get stuff off eBay now, and it all comes down to being patient.
And Russell Bent, before it goes off the top, is new old stock, not stock that was overpriced in the first place and didn't sell. Not necessarily. Some of these places are just not good at promoting what they've got. The old Holton Model Centre in Bolton was notorious for it. Didn't advertise. And James Petts says, I approve of fixing short circuits. Number 5 is a lie.
Input. Need input.
But yeah, basically, new old stock, Hereford Model Centre, we have picked it dry, it must be said. Barnabas Junction says, Zoe, you will be proud of me. Got a bargain Backman Class 08 Gronk from the Stafford exhibition for only £30. It was listed as non-DCC, but it actually has a Gauge Master decoder in it and works fine. Boom! Legend! Absolute legend, my son.
Yes,
that is
absolute legend.
30 quid!
Nice.
Oh, that is an amazing price.
That is great.
Right. Worthington Model Railway says eBay shipping is also an issue in the US.
Yeah.
The eBay shipping charges are triple what they used to be. Now, I've seen this before as well, where it's like you get something that's really well priced, and then you look at the shipping, and it's 4 times what the price of the item is, and you think, well,
I actually saw that on Amazon, and I was amazed at the brass balls this guy had. Well, I am selling a brand new style of mobile phone for £5.
What?
The shipping £160.
Yeah, that's just like that is taking the rip. But yeah, no, anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, Hereford Model Centre, we have largely picked it clean. if you want a Sentinel four-wheel shunter, they've got a really, really nice orange one for, I think it's about £50, which is an amazing price for that model, brand new. But by and large, we've picked it clean. I'm sad to report you're struggling now to find locomotives for much under £100, whereas when we started, you could pick up amazing new old stock Bachmann and Hornby locomotives, DCC ready, super detailed. We were picking them up for about 50 quid. Same on wagons and stuff, picked clean, unfortunately. But in terms of second-hand items, Ellis Clark Trains, Clark Railworks is the site that they have their second-hand 00 and HO and N gauge on. And there's some really great deals on there. I'm currently not in the region of that 30 quid Gronk. Good on you. That is an amazing price. I am so jealous. DCC fitted as well with a decent decoder too. Ellis Clark Railworks, for a Gronk, you're looking at around the £80 price mark from there. Sorry, sign of the times, but that's certainly a lot cheaper than elsewhere. And I've seen things like Bachmann Crabs, the locomotive rather than anything else, going for about £65. Yeah, Martin Searsma, absolutely. Paying $10 shipping on a $2 item is ridiculous. Absolutely, when you consider the actual cost of shipping in a lot of instances is not that great. Yeah, OO Bill, absolutely. Got my J36 Maud from Clark Railworks. Good guys. Yeah, I've at shows I've bought so much from Ellis Clark, and always a really, really great price to sell. I'm just looking at that. My Merton as well, the Terrier, the Hornby Terrier Merton, the special edition they did for the centenary. I picked mine up mint inbox, never run, for £80 from Ellis Clark Trains, and that is really good price when you consider that they were being offered new at about 120 at the same time. Right. SHGP Media. Oh, you careful now. It says you can get crabs in these parts for now. Yeah, places like Loo in Cornwall, you can stick your festory piece of mackerel over the side on a piece of string and it'll come back up with crabs all over it. Linnet 12DD says, I got a Hornby M7 in Southern livery, DCC fitted for £85 at Faversham Model Rail Shop. Yeah, some of these model rail shows, there's some great deals. And we have got Great Electric Train Show coming up, not this weekend, but the weekend after. And I think that there's going to be some price to sell amazing deals there from a good number of retailers. And I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm hoping I might get a good frisk on the Friday, because I'm going to be there from Friday and then there Saturday and Sunday. And of course, all the awards, the voting's closed, so it doesn't really matter. I could say, vote for Sam's Trains! And it won't make any difference because you can't.
Yes, but you wouldn't say that because, let's face it, why would you advertise someone else when you are in the running?
Yeah, well,
That
actually,
would make
can I just say, there's some of the people on there, I looked at it and I thought, I've got no chance against them. The
Yes,
quality of their stuff. Mouldy Raspberry, the man. I think I've only ever once seen him on camera, not on his own channel, but lovely modelling, absolutely, and he was in the mix as well. And I am really curious to know how that turns out. It's intriguing to for the first time in my life, be nominated for an award. I've got no illusions about winning anything. I don't win anything. God, I can't even win anything on eBay. But Warbler Productions says, I'm sure you'll have at least one U2 engine it gets. Yeah. Some kind of Stepney, I think. Simon Trains Model Railway showcases, don't get me started on gets. Can't get down to Milton Keynes, will have to change. And can't get the train. Yes. It's really annoying. They've chosen to go on strike on that day. So, unfortunately, I would suggest actually the Megabus. If you wish to have a guided tour of basically every university campus between where you live and Milton Keynes, then get your Megabus tickets booked. And yeah, we'll get you there. It's not necessarily too expensive, but it will take a long time. Jeffrey Kite, big hello to you. We've got Sue at Pudham Junction as well. Jennifer Horton says, Getz might be iffy with the rail strikes. Absolutely. DJ K666 says, LMS or BR, you filthy lot. And Iron Horse Railways. This is you got to love a good frisking. I'm sorry, if there's ever a double entendre required, then Iron Horse Railways will give you one. Peter Jackson, Cheadle Heath says the loco at Whalley should be 80057, I think. I do know what one of the full-sized items is going to be at Whalley, but I am not authorised to make it public, so I can't tell you. But I do know, not that one, wasn't aware of that one, but one of the other items, 1-to-1 scale, I have been told will be there, is quite interesting. Right on Track says, see you at Whalley on Friday, Jenny. Boom! Absolutely, I will be at Whalley as well. And again, I'll be there for the full weekend. I am there, guests of KR Models. So, really looking forward to that. John Murray, big hello to you. Says, hello, Jenny and everyone. Really great to see you. Hope we find you well. Erom Sellis says, evening, everyone. Can I make a shameless plug for the Gauge 1 Association 75th anniversary show at Bicester this weekend? Many scales other than Gauge 1? Absolutely. So, Gauge 1 Association 75th anniversary show at Bicester this coming weekend. I'm sure there's a website where you can find more information if needed. Stevie Film says the other YouTubers may have quality videos or be really skillful, but overall, I think you're a better entertainer. So, yeah, you're the class clown, and we love you for it. Thank you so much, I think. Ruben Ashwell says hopefully I will get the train to Whalley and not have to be driven, get a coach or stay with friends in the area. I always used to drive to Whalley, go down just for the day. I'd always get the early bird ticket, and there was always so much to see there that, to be honest, Whalley is one of those where I would advocate that if you can get a hotel at a decent price and spare the weekend, then actually it's well worth making a weekend of it. Eram Seller, absolutely, you're welcome. No worries. Gary Lewis says, hi Jenny, whilst recovering in hospital from my spine operation, I put a bid on eBay for a Bachmann Large Prairie with You Choose sound and won it at a very good price. Yeah, there are still bargains out there, so all is not lost, but it is getting harder, I must admit. So comparatively recently, Great Eastern Models as well. Must give a shout out to Anne and the crew. At Great Eastern Models, I picked up a Class 25 from Bachmann, 25286. One of the BR Blue with tops numbers versions that I've been hunting for a long, long time. And I got that at a really good price. So there are still good bargains out there. Arcadia Models, not been for a while, but his second-hand table is also well worth a frisk. Again, like I always say, quality models priced to sell. They don't hang around. There's no point in asking, well, what did he have there? It's like, no, they're sold. They were too well priced to stick around. They've sold, but he does get other stuff in on a regular basis. And you can just ring him up. And people say, oh, well, I'm in America. And they're like, gee whiz, I'm in America. And Americans now hate me studiously. So you call that an American accent? It's like, well, in response to that, Dick Van Dyke, do you call that an English accent? Or, oh, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I caught a little bit of that. You were watching it. And there was some woman who was playing an English person. And it's all, go blind me, governor. And it's like, no, nobody here talks like that. And you just look at it and it's like, obvious fake English accent is obvious.
The best part, though, is that she was acting opposite a Texan who you couldn't tell wasn't English.
Oh, you see, he did a good job. You'd have thought he'd have taken her to one side and gone, less of the gore blimey governor.
Yes, but I believe Darla, it was Spike and... No, Drusilla. She's not supposed to sound normal because she's weird.
Yes, and it did come across quite well as being weird. So Donegal Dad Rail says, I will be at Worley helping on the Inver-Donegal Railway model. So, hey, actually, we should have a meet-up. Now, right, let's start planning the meet-up.
Will you be on time this time?
I will try and be on time. But, Great Electric Train Show, we're going to try and have a meet-up. So basically, one of the places that I will be flitting around will be KR Models. So, at some point, we will try and arrange a time, maybe next week, once I know when the awards and stuff are going on, and we'll have a little bit of a meet-up. And the same at Worley. Again, KR Models, spend a lot of time for that. Wardle Road, big hello to Ollie. Says, can't wait for Worley meet-up on the Saturday. Ollie, are you going to be at Getz again? Jerry BVR says, Jenny, can I remind you of your Irish accents, or your Irish accents earlier? Tilly-dee.
I remember that...
Three fellas.
Jen and I used to be in a live role-playing group at university, and for the annual outing that we used to all have, where we go off and do an adventure, the one year I went before... when I just joined the society, they had this sign that said, yes, we may be setting this story in the fantasy version of Ireland, but please, no Irish accents.
Tilly-dee.
To which everyone else looked at it and went, I think they've missed a comma here. They said, no, Irish accents.
Yeah.
So everyone had the broadest Irish accent they could manage, and it was ridiculous.
Put that cake into 3 turds.
By the time we came back, we all had an Irish accent, and we couldn't get rid of it for days. It was quite spectacular.
Okay, as Flymo Chairman 1 says, even my hackles are up. Right, okay, right. Stop that. That's very silly.
It's very
Yes,
silly.
and Vic Freak says, speaking of KR Models, I'm itching to get my foul.
In an Irish accent, say the following words. Oil, beef, hooked.
Oil, beef, hooked. I just got it. Oh, right. Anyway, Wardle Road says also Great Central Railway, Corn Wagon and Wagon are doing an open day on the 23rd of October, if anyone is about. Brilliant. Ruben Ashwell lolled at Zoe's Irish accent. Everybody else just choked. Lee D. Holden.
I don't know what you said. I don't have an Irish accent.
Oh. Lee D. Holden says, what have I missed tonight, please? That seems to be a suggestion that he might be running late.
A Monday clubber is never late, Frodo Baggins. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to. Fiddle-dee-diddly-dee.
Thanks, Gandalf.
Thank you, Gandalf.
Trying to be a bit Irish there.
Ah,
right.
fiddle-dee-dee.
Don't forget to tickle that like button and share this stream. Really important. Charlie McGowan's Partick Hill Station, big hello to you. I think we've also got a few newbies in as well. Ian Parker, big hello to you.
Hello and welcome to the show. We don't often take the mick out of accents. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Actually, we do, but mostly it's Jenny trying to do a Geordie accent.
Yeah, please don't report us. Worthington Model Railway says $1,100 airfare for the Worley weekend. I'm tempted. And just remember, because the dollar is approaching parity with the pound, your bucks go really, really far. Jamie Smith asks, what is the beverage of choice for this evening? It is fancy coffees. I've had a mocha.
Yes, double choc mochas.
Double choc mocha for me. And Flymo Chairman 1, absolutely hit that like button, subscribe, and share.
Martin Siersma says, talk in a Welsh accent. I won't understand you.
Well,
Ew.
I'm sorry, I've got Irish accent.
It's
going
very
around.
difficult to do a Welsh accent. Because
You've got to talk about the hula hoops and the super whip.
the super whip.
Can I just say, you have not changed the overlays on the Monday Club for our new sponsor.
Jen, you didn't remind. You can't remind me in the middle of the show.
Just thought I'd put that out there. Anyway, Donegal Dad Rail says, I will forgive those Irish accents for a shout out. Too short of 2,000 subs. Well done. And it builds quicker and quicker. So well done. It'll come quicker and quicker. Jamie Smith. We've already talked about the beverage of choice. Alfonso Lapulso says, phew, I arrived exactly when I intended to once I got back from the supermarket.
Excellent.
Mark Holt says, hi Jenny, Zoe and crew. And James Pett says, of Welsh accents, The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. It sounds excellent in a Welsh accent.
Quoth the raven nevermore. That's not a...
Oh, that's lovely.
That would have been quite a bit of a Swedish chef accent. I don't know how to do a Welsh accent, but I can kind of do a weird singy-songy voice.
You sound like you're trying to do the Swedish chef badly.
Hello, I am totally from ABBA.
Oh. Björn. Right, anyway, DJK666 says, hey, I'm Welsh, but I have an English accent. It's where you stress the syllables. Yeah, I'm half Welsh.
Which half?
Not the bit that does accents, apparently. Peter Jackson Cheadle Heath, yes, we will be doing videos, I'm guessing, later on. Because we weren't on air last week, a very rare day off, because it's the day of the late Queen's funeral, so out of respect, we didn't run the Monday Club. James Pett says, ABBA or Aberystwyth? Actually, I'm the bit of me that's Welsh is from the Swansea Valley, around Ystrygynlais, Glanryd. Within Model Railway says, Zoe, you can't do a Swedish one either.
I can't do most accents.
Yeah. And Sarah Davis, absolutely. You end up sounding like Apu from Simpsons when you do a Welsh accent. I must admit, Welsh is very, very close to a Pakistani accent.
To a very, very stereotypical Pakistani accent.
Yeah, and there's lots of Pakistani people going, no, we don't. We don't sound like that.
Yeah, what part of Pakistan are you from? Aberystwyth?
Yes, yeah. Right, anywho, meanwhile, back at the ranch, Tim Maslin says, I forgot to say, I went to the Stafford Railway Show, found a truck for £7. My dad was very happy as it had its football team on it in Brentford. Boom!
Did you let them out?
Roger Woolstonholme says, I'm from Yorkshire. Everybody sounds strange to me. And Flymo Chairman one says, you knocked that out of the park, Jenny. Did I?
Go and get it back.
Yeah, okay. Simon Train's Mother Railway Showcase says, how was your day off last week? I actually went to Ireland. I know all this poking fun at Irish accents and stuff. I actually went to Ireland last week on my week off with work. They said, we've got this really easy job. And I went, oh yeah, I'm on holiday. They went, no, you will want to do this job. And this job involved taking a generator truck to Birkenhead, going on the overnight ferry, making the most of the restaurants, all the food was paid for, everything like that, had a cabin. And then at the other end, getting off said ferry at 6:30 in the morning, driving round the corner to Titanic Studios, swapping that generator with another generator, driving that back, getting on the same ferry, and then coming back on the over the day ferry. Again, all food paid for. I even had a cabin. So a cabin during the day, but it was an inside cabin, which was quite fun, because when you turned all the lights off, it might as well have been night time. It was great. I had a lot of rest, and I was paid to do it. I love it. So, yeah, the only bit of Ireland I saw was the M2 motorway between the docks and the Titanic place, because that's where the studios are. Right, anyway, Mark Wilson, big hello to you. Great to see you. I hope I find you well. Yeah, Stevie filmed Jenny took the Jenny to Ireland. She did, yes, and she wouldn't dare do her silly Irish accents over there because she would get her head kicked in by real Irish people who really don't appreciate
really, you English people coming over and taking the
coming over here and stealing our accents. Right. Ian Parker says, next year I'm collecting private plank wagons. I like to what I see running on the layout. Ah, yes. Right, well, just about to come into frame. It's actually just about to be bowled by another train. Right, we've got the private owner train behind a Cali 812. It's just been bowled by the C1 Atlantic, the Great Northern Railway, Ivor Atlantic. So let's see if we can catch up with it on another camera. So just coming there, it's the factory weathered, sound fitted. Can I just say, if I, where have you gone? Oh, so yeah, sound fitted, Cali 812, weathered, factory weathered, and we've got a rake of some very colourful private owner wagons. These are pretty much all from the Bachmann stable, and a lot of them are special commissions. If you look at them and think, oh, well, I like that one, but I've never seen it before. What you'll find is a lot of those are ones which in the main shops or organisations commissioned from Bachmann. So from the front we've got a Hornby brake van, ignore that. Then we've got I don't know if we can catch up with it round on this camera. Then we've got Tarslag, one of the early ones from the late 90s, Lillis Hall, Cadbury Bourneville, I do like that yellow hopper. E.A. Stevenson, that was a £5 new old stock from Hereford Model Centre. Then we've got the TNC Scowcroft and Sons. I've completely missed, I'm not speaking quick enough to keep up with the train. TNC Scowcroft was a private commission. The one after that, the white one, is quite an unusual one, commissioned by Model Rail. Then we have one that's from one of the Bachmann Collectors Club special editions, a whole load from Model Zone, where they used to commission packs of 3. There's some there from Frysing Hall Models. We got some from Harburn Hobbies. Yeah, the Devlins is a Harburn Hobbies special commission. What else have we got? I think the Bull Coal as well as one, a special commission as well. You all right there, Zoe? Do you want to go downstairs and lie down?
I don't feel good at all.
Might be that caffeine hit from the
No,
coffee.
it feels like someone's drilling into the back of my head.
Right, so we may not be doing.
We're doing the videos because
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. Right, J. Paul Anderson actually says, will you start videos early? No immediate plans to start before past. So we're nearly actually at video time anyway. Ben Tullett says, I like the put cauldron. Autocorrect doesn't understand children, so it converts it either to children or cauldron. But yeah, so we've got the Acura scale. Where's it gone? Oh, right, yeah. So we're just about to, fortuitously there on the upper level, we've got a Hatton's Andrew Barclay and 9 of the Acura scale children wagons, which are lovely actually. So tiny, you can fit 2 Acura scale childrens in every one HUO hopper. And they really are quite small. Alfonso Lapulsa says, I'm slowly putting together a fleet of private owner plank wagons, but all must have Huddersfield or places around Huddersfield on them. I'm just thinking actually, I wonder, do any of those have Huddersfield or Nottingham? There's a Nottingham shop special commissioner, GD Models, place in Newark, New Battle, that was Harburn Hobbies. I do not. Oh, Charles Sinclair. Charles Sinclair of Bradford, that's quite close. Iron Horse Railway suggests that we put more coal in the children. Yes, put another child on the fire. Yeah, Sarah Davis suggests Migraleave or Cocodamol for Zoe.
I take as few tablets as possible because I have to keep my brain chemistry in the correct levels.
Oh, absolutely. But right, interesting question here from Charlie Chimp. Big hello to you. Says, hey Jenny, is insurance a thing for model railways? Absolutely it is.
Insurance is a thing for anything that you own.
Would you recommend it? Yes, very much. Because I know that the golden rules in this hobby is never add up everything that you have bought. But the stark truth is that if you were to add up everything that you've bought, it comes to generally a lot of money. And that doesn't mean that you necessarily spent a lot of money on it, but just that the cost for you to replace it, it would now be a lot of money. So for example, my Bachmann C-Class number 592 in ornate SECR livery is quite a desirable locomotive, and they go for many hundreds of pounds if you can find one. I paid £69 for mine because that's just what they cost when they were new if you were lucky enough to get one. And likewise, some of my Model Zone commissioned RTC livery coaches are now worth a lot of money. You need to insure these things because whilst your contents insurance on your house may well cover stuff, there is a caveat. If you get burgled, or even worse, if your house burns to the ground, and fire is the worst. Fire is really what you should think you're insuring against because it will indiscriminately destroy everything, including the stuff that no self-respecting thief would ever touch. And if you get in a situation, an unfortunate situation, say your model railway shed burns down or your house burns down or whatever, if the sum total of everything that gets destroyed is more than what you're insured for, you will obviously not get the extra amount of money. But you can also fall into something that I think a lot of people don't realise, and it's a little get-out clause that the insurance industry refers to as being under-insured. Now, under-insured means, like, let's just say you have £100,000 worth of stuff in your house, but you only have £50,000 worth of insurance. Now imagine that you have £25,000 worth of stuff stolen. You think, I've got £50,000 worth of insurance, that's going to cover it. No.
Nope.
Because you had £100,000 worth of stuff that you were spreading that insurance over. And if they deem you to be underinsured, they will say you were only insuring half of all the stuff you've got. So if you have £25,000 worth of stuff pinched, even though you've got £50,000 worth of insurance cover, they will only pay you out half of that. So you'll get £12,500, and that's called underinsured. And it is a serious thing, and unfortunately it's a trap that a lot of people find themselves falling into, because you might not have been underinsured at the start, but you can become underinsured as you acquire more and more stuff. Ian Parker says contents was £70,000, not including trains. Yeah, it does make me think I need to increase our contents insurance. Our contents insurance is for a huge amount, but I don't think it's enough, because it's quite scary how much stuff the average person will accumulate over their lifespan. A lot, you know, it just happens. You don't realise it. You're not buying it all in one go.
It just creeps up on you.
Yeah, you can quite easily end up with like £500,000 plus of stuff without even realising it. You know, it could be antique books, it could be paintings, It could be your antique Transformers collection from the 1980s, mint on card. All of these things all add up. James Pett says, thank you for reminding me. I'm just sorting out my model railway insurance renewal now and increasing the indemnity limit. Absolutely. It is important because insurance is one of those things you think, nah, it's not that important until you need it.
And then
and trust me, we have been broken into. I did have model railway items stolen.
We've been broken into multiple times.
Twice?
No, I'm pretty sure they came back a third time.
Well, what did they do?
Remember the wood chest? And all of a sudden it was open without any warning. They came back.
Yeah. They've not been back since though, because they. What's this? Jerry BVR says, Jenny hasn't seen my 20-year-old underwear in the wardrobe. Can I just say that I have underwear far older than that?
You know what the weirdest thing about that is? Leave it for a while and it'll become antique, and then all of a sudden your old pants are worth something.
Oh, can I just say that in the 1990s, I was young. In fairness, I was a teenager. I was young. And I was really into burlesque and like
yeah, but that was the 90s.
High end. We're not talking cheap rubbish. High end lingerie.
Burlesque was back in the 90s. It was weird.
It was. But still got it in a cupboard. Don't wear it. But they're like nearly 30 years old. But some of that stuff has actually become quite valuable. Anfield Road layout in the loft. Big hello to you. David Scott says contents insurance could only cover 3,500. Ooh. Alfonso Lapulsa says, are insurance brokers on the high street still a thing? I had not seen them on the high street for a very long time. They used to be good for covering the gaps that regular home insurance has. Generally speaking, you just talk to your house contents cover. Usually the only proviso is that any single item, and this is the thing when people go, oh, your model railway's worth £50,000. No single, as long as no single item is worth more than, I think on ours it's either £1,000 or £1,500, then it doesn't have to be specifically named. But I do have some very famous original paintings, and they are specifically named on the insurance and specifically insured because they're over that threshold.
Mm-hmm.
A big hello to New Junction. Great to see you. I hope you're well. Did somebody chant his name? Tim Maslin says, yes, they are, at least where I live in Shropshire. Ah, nice to know that high street insurance brokers are alive and well. Flymo Chairman 1 says, I've got a bath towel that I use as a dust sheet bought in 1973. But it is amazing. You can, if you're feeling unwell, you need to go downstairs.
I actually thought I was about to be sick there. I'm sorry.
Well, if you're gonna,
I know it's too much information.
Yeah, if you're going to spew, try not to spew on anything valuable or difficult to clean. There you are.
Jen, if I set up, do you know how to do the...
No.
You've done it before.
Oh, well, maybe I can. But, right. So we're going to be starting videos shortly. But anyway, just to recap. In the news, Daypol, the HEA wagons in O-Gauge are currently hitting the shops. I've seen a lot of reports from a number of different retailers that they are out there now. We've also got new announcements over the weekend from Daypol in the form of O-Gauge. All three of these are O-Gauge. The Mogo van, the iconic motor vehicle covered van from the Great Western Railway. These were vans that were adapted with end opening doors and especially fitted ramps to allow the loading of motor vehicles. Bear in mind that when the Mogo vans were new, motor vehicles were actually quite rare and very expensive, so you didn't really want them just sort of out in the breeze on the back of a train. These wagons did survive quite late. Indeed, I do somewhere, I don't think it's out, but Bachmann did do a model of a Mogo van, which is a model of a real one, that actually lasted long enough to be in the 1980s in Satlink livery, so they were quite long lasting. Ian Parker says AXA Insurance refunded my home insurance less £40, having to get another company. Oh, how come? That's a bit weird. It's what they just turned around and went, we're just cancelling your policy. That's a bit weird. Iron Horse Railway says, Zoe, for future reference, there is a way that I or someone else who's trusted could dial in and help run the video section remotely. Or would that degrade the stream quality? I suspect that would be too much for our internet connection.
Our internet connection would hold up. I'm not sure about the processing power of the computer.
Yeah. And actually, David Scott has a very, very valid point. He says, roll back half an hour, and we were talking about a DMU set costing £600, puts insurance into perspective. And
that's
what
actually
I mean.
a very good point.
Absolutely. And just remember, right, for example, your Bachmann Class 108, when you bought it new, maybe you paid £80 for it, because that's just what they were costing back when they were new. If it gets stolen, what do you think a Class 108 from Bachmann now costs? Yeah, that's right. Several £100. I think they're pushing. It's something like £270, £280. You have to factor that in on your insurance.
So before we start, just to remind you how to do this.
Can I just say, Dongit's Mother Railway says, I got a 108 3-car set for £39 new originally. That is actually way, way too good a price.
That is amazing. Last time we were on, we were talking about metal detectors and things like that. And
oh, what, finding gold bars?
Yeah, and Eric Ray did find a gold bar. He sent us a photo.
Okay, let's go over to the bat.
And here we see the gold bar that he found.
Oh. A big, big thank you to 3B Rail. Thank you so much for generously donating £10.
Apologies to everyone who got a blast
Chat.
of sound while I was setting up, because apparently we forgot to mute the video sounds. So I've done it now.
Tut, tut, tut.
Yeah, sorry.
This is, hi Jenny, small donation to the fund. Forget. Oh, thank you so much. You're very, very generous. Thank you so much. And also, I need to actually thank 2 weeks ago we did get let me just, I need to find it now. I need to thank somebody. It's just reminded me, they sent a donation in on paypal.me.
Oh my goodness.
2 weeks ago, and I do need to thank
yes
them, because I didn't notice until after the stream. Now James Pett says, always believe in gold. Absolutely. Ian Parker says, my trains were not on the cover. £30,000 including garage and 2 sheds.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh. Worthington Model Railway says, as I said earlier, here in the US, NMRA provide specialist model railway insurance. Is there a similar organisation in the UK? I suspect there is. I suspect a lot of model rail clubs have deals where, if you remember,
I would hope that someone is in on that, yes.
Why am I constantly getting texts to verify I am who I say I am?
Oh, because there's been a massive increase in issues with PayPal, whereas fraudsters have been getting in, so now you have to prove yourself.
Right. So I've now proven that it is me and not somebody else.
You haven't, though, have you? You've proven that you've got access to your phone.
So let me just... They make it very difficult to thank people. Right, so I want activity.
It's been a while since Jenny in the shed says Flying Channel 1. Yeah, that's because I now use it for storage.
Yeah.
Jenny took over the attic, so I've got this.
Can I just say a big, big thank you belatedly from 2 weeks ago to Charles Walsh, who very, very kindly on paypal.me, the link is down below, sent £8.24.
Thank you very much.
That's how I think they sent a round number, possibly of a different currency, but it's come through as £8.24. And thank you so much for your generosity.
Absolutely,
And of course,
thank
every
you.
penny does help us to keep producing the content that you like to see here. Lee D. Holden says, I got one of the Hornby 3-car DMUs from Hereford Model Centre, new old stock last year for less than £80. Bargain. Absolutely.
So,
and
Jan,
yes.
what's that say on screen?
Let me just get off the screen, and we've got Gronk. There seems to be some kind of Gronk activity. This is from Sarah Davis and says, don't know why I never thought to send this before. This is a mural that's painted by the Tesco Hamley branch, Clough Street, Stoke-on-Trent, that's been added to with rubbish graffiti since. There's always one, isn't there?
Yeah, there's always a tagger. Although I love that down in town there's a guy that goes around and critiques the tagger's work.
Well, they just go, poor.
Yes.
Grammatically incorrect.
There's one, and it was brilliant. And it was just this guy had scribbled his name on the wall in really bad spray paint. And the critique was, this man needs to learn how to use a can.
So we brought this up at Rockerman's Furniture, and this is in Hamley. I know, well, the Hobby Goblin is near there, I believe. Hanley and Stoke-on-Trent. Used to go there a lot. I actually had a summer job at what used to be the Nicer Today distribution centre, because my father was the site general manager, and I was basically the lackey that they paid to lay concrete. For a bit of summer cash. I bought my first computer out of that.
I have a feeling we're not travelling tomorrow. I don't feel good.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I'm sorry to say I have to go and lie down.
It might be as well not to, because your mum will be quite immunosuppressed. So we're best.
For those wondering what we're talking about, my mum has just had an operation to deal with cancer. We were thinking of doing
Everything's gone well.
Everything's gone really well. She's recovering now, but we were considering going to see her tomorrow as a surprise visit. I have a feeling it's going to be further down in the week.
Yeah, I think you're right. So we'll put that off. I think you might need a little bit of.
I need to go and lie. I'm sorry.
So
I tried to keep
okay,
going.
right. So
all you need to do is the little back. No, not that one. The little back button just above the message. No, there. That's it.
Okay, yeah.
And that'll bring up the list. There, it will right at the bottom. So all the ones that are in grey, they're still to be done. And if you scroll up, you'll see the rest.
Okay, so if I go to there,
Yeah.
and then do I click on the link?
If you click on the link, it'll bring up the video, and then you can do your various things. I'm so sorry, guys. I've got to go and lie down.
Okay, so I'm flying solo at the moment. Big hello to Mel's. Great to see you. Ooh. Let me just wind that back. It has a habit of just auto-playing. Grr. So this is from... yeah, no worries. So the Cupboard Monkey is not feeling so great. This is from Lee D. Holden. So do bear with me. I am flying solo here.
Shout if you need me.
Yeah, don't worry. So this is Model Railway video tribute to Her Royal Highness Queen Elizabeth II with a Hornby Princess Elizabeth. So this is actually a really good sized layout you've got here. Look at all those locos. I spy a couple that I've got as well. I've got that Railway Children pannier tank. Ooh, double-headed. Nice. Do you like your block of flats there? That's a good kit, actually. You've got a lot of locomotives. I am most impressed. So, J. Paul Anderson says, Jenny, have you got my video? I'll take a look once we've watched this one. Andy 1962 says, best wishes for speedy recovery for your mum and for you too, Zoe. Take care. Sarah Davis says, the Hobby Goblin is my local train shop about a mile away from me opposite Port Vale football ground. A mile, that's easy walking distance. So yeah, Hobby Goblin, I've not been there for probably about 25 years. But I do still have one of the locomotives I bought there at Hornby 00, City of London. Mint condition. I think I paid £30 for it in 1995. So actually, 27 years. Simon Trains Model Railway Showcases did see the Railway Children coaches as a twin pack for £15 at Stafford Model Rail Exhibition. If they were the newer Bachmann ones, then they were a bargain. If they were the older Triang ones, then they're probably about half of the course. J. Paul Anderson says, nice locos. And Valley's 56XX says, testing. Your test is working. Richard Swiderski says, how low, Jenny? How low? Hello. Oh, I do like that. I haven't got one of those streamlined Duchesses. I do really quite want one, but they just every time I mean to buy one, there's always something else comes up. That is a lovely colour, though. The experimental blue, always great. Alfonso La Pulsa says, great collection there. A few too many kettles for me, but different strokes and all that. Yeah, I like diesels, it must be said, but there's a great collection of steam locos here. Really good collection. Let's just... So we're getting a... Oh, right, so we're about to get a guided tour here of the locomotives. So that looks like a Patriot there. LMS Patriot. Princess Coronation. Another Princess Coronation. Streamlined Princess Coronation. There's a lot of Princess Coronations. In fact, is that Duchess of... I want to say Duchess of Hamilton. Actually, I think there's multiple Duchesses of Hamilton. The Growler Blackwood Engage layout says, hope they have insurance for all those locos. I'm sure they would. Jubilees, 8Fs, I see Britannia, I think it is. Ginty. That looks, that one there, second green one back next to the LMS one. That looks GWR. I'm going to say Hall. Not a Hall. Maybe a Hall. I don't know. Harry Cedric says BR Express Blue. Absolutely. Really, really good. Yeah, DJ K666 Hobby Goblin, well worth a visit. As frequented by Prince of Charles. Prince Charles. So Prince of Charles. Prince Charles. Well, the former Prince Charles, now King Charles III. But he was Prince Charles, Prince of Wales at the time. And he was on a walkabout in Stoke-on-Trent, in Hanley. And it wasn't a scheduled visit, but he spotted the Hobby Goblin. And he just like basically every quality railway modeller, it was like, oh, we're going in here. So they had an impromptu visit into the Hobby Goblin. And I think it shocks the proprietor a little bit. But it's led to me wondering, does King Charles III have a model railway? I have heard rumours that in Buckingham Palace for a very long time there has been a model railway. Unclear whether it is like a model rail club for the staff, for the family, or maybe a bit of both. I don't know. But it's one of those things I should probably sort of, obviously not right now, but I should write and query at some point. Maybe I could parley some of the fact that I'm more well known than people who aren't known at all in the YouTubey world, to maybe try and get some kind of a visit. I think they'd be telling me to sling my hook. Right, anyway, look, there's we've got the full video here, so I'm not going to show it all. Thank you to Lee D. Holden for sharing this with us. And I'm going to just try and... So I'm going to... this is very difficult when you're flying solo, when you're not very computer literate to start with. I used to be computer literate, but then they kind of changed everything. And I'm still stuck at just about coping with Windows XP, but I'm more of a Windows 98 era. I'm just reading that comment. Alfonso La Pulsa says, I like the plural for Duchess of Hamilton. Should be Duchesses of Hamilton. I guess it would be. Davila says, I remember that as a child, King Charles was presented with a model railway by, of all people, the Emperor of Ethiopia. I was so jealous. Richard Swiderski says, sling one's hook, Jenny. Yes, I believe that it would be a very, very polite brush off. It would be the most British of brush offs. You would know you've been brushed off. You would know that you'd been told to sling one's hook, but not a single bit of it would be in any way able to be misinterpreted as rude. And you'd leave the place going, we've just been told to sod off. But really, really politely. Right, let me try and bring up the next one. So, so this is, I'm just looking, I don't see anything from J. Paul Anderson. Although we've got from Grumpy Frog Productions. So we've got a choice of two here. And this is a quick video for the Monday Club. Hope you are both well. Scale is ON30. Prototype is based on Sydney Ferries Parramatta Tramway in Australia. So let's just bring this up. Ooh. And let's see if I can just bring them. So we've got basically like a garden layout here. Always love the outdoorsy ones. So somewhere here we've got, and this is an Australian prototype. And oh, it's not outdoors. There is a railway room. Let's have a look. Ooh, exciting. Let's see what's through the big blue door. Charlie McGowan Partick Station, terrific layout and great collection. Ooh, a nice tramway. Nice. ON30, so that is... Apparently we can't see anything, says Flymo Chairman 1. Is anything... Oh, we can now, Jenny. I didn't do anything. So ON30, that would be O gauge running on N gauge track. Is it? No, O gauge, narrow gauge, and that would be what? The equivalent of 3-foot gauge? Something like that. I'm not sure. Ruben Ashway says, always love a good tramway. Flymer Chamber 1, 1970s door cover. Ooh. David Scott says, Princess Anne was presented with a limited edition of Revenningham Hall when she opened the Gloucestershire Warwickshire Railway to Cheltenham Racecourse. I didn't know that. Simon Trains Model Railway showcases, according to ITV News, Charles told model rail enthusiasts how he had been given a layout of Gibraltar during a visit there in 1954 when on a visit to the Heart of Wales line in 2018. And James Lister, the Raimu Hakuri fan, says, I've been able to see 2 of the 6 surviving A4 Pacifics in person. Dongit's Model Railway says it's O scale, narrow gauge, representing 30-inch gauge. Right, I'm with you. Andy 1962 says King Charles definitely likes trains. As a student in the early 80s, I saw him at Preston Station. He was admiring the diesel and chatting to the driver. Staff tried to move him to the car, but he kept chatting. Yeah, I think when the future king is in a chatty mood, one does not try and rush him. Ooh, we've got electricery and computers. Wow, this is a big layout. There's a lot going on here. Nice. Warbler Production says the King Charles has driven several steam locomotives, one being the Festiniog Railway's Prince from Warnfor to Reithu on the Welsh Highland Railway. Right, I need to just check that we are getting... Let me just... see. Oh, come on, you silly thing. Give me... Right, don't forget to tickle the like button, by the way. And we've got 148 likes, but 233 of you are watching. There seems to be an issue here. Do please tickle the like video and share the stream as well. It's the greatest way to help the channel, and it's absolutely free to do as well. Raymond Legg says, Stock in my seat, can't move, no way. The other guy knows the game to play. J. Paul Anderson says, I sent the link to both mail accounts. I can't go searching at the moment. Hopefully the Cupboard Monkey will try and see if we can sort that out. And James Pett says, Winevour is pronounced Winevour. Winevour. Yeah, that makes sense. Right, so we do have something on screen at the moment. So I'm going to put that there so I can actually monitor and make sure that I've got a camera that shows something. Davil says it's pronounced Ridthi. I think Welsh speaker to correct me if necessary. If I stop and think very hard, I can get Welsh pronunciation, but I have to stop and think to get it. And Jerry BVR says, just a reminder, the NASA DART asteroid impactor is due to hit an asteroid in about 3 hours' time. Ooh, interesting. And that'll be one to watch, actually. James Lister, the Raimu Hakori fan, says the last Northeastern Railway T2 class is at the North Yorkshire Moors Railway. Yeah, there's some interesting survivors out there. Right. Charles Gibbs says the Hatton's P-Class loco is one of the tiniest engines. Does Jenny have an opinion on this model? I do. It's really, really great. I only have one. I've got the Southeastern and Chatham Railway Wartime Austerity Grey version. Let's see. Oh, so let's have a look. I really do like the Hatton's P-Class. I wish they'd do another run of them. Sadly, almost all of the versions are sold out. I think the Rail Operations Division wartime versions, at least one of those is still about. Possibly the simplistic Southeastern and Chatham Railway. Let's have a look. Oh, hold on. Iron Horse Railway says, who's hitting an asteroid? And NASA is. Oswestry Road TMT. Big hello to you. Says, just come back from work this evening. Hope you are both well. Unfortunately, the Cupboard Monkey is under the weather. So she is bailed out, and I am flying solo here, just doing some of your videos and pictures. So I do like that. We've got, I'm guessing that may well be the Bachmann wagon. It could be Daypole, but I'm going to guess at Bachmann with a really nicely presented, lightly weathered P-Class in BR livery. So I think that's the P-Class again. We've got that kind of really oldie-worldy look to that. Raymond Legg says, listens to Hypnotic Tango by My Mind. Ooh. J. Paul Anderson says, have you got it now, Jen? Unfortunately, at the moment, because I'm showing what's on the screen, I cannot check. I will have to check once we've seen these pictures. Ruben Ashwell says, I'm off for a bit to do something and we'll be back before the stream ends. Well, you take care and we'll catch you in a bit. Flymer Chairman 1 says it's in the list. Joaquin. Ginty Steam, it says, if the Cupboard Monkey is under the weather, then let her in out of the rain. Oh, right, okay. Is everybody ready for the lollipop stick loke? I'll try that again. Sorry, my mouth appears to have been encrypted. The lollipop stick joke is if. Oh, you've just. Well, if somebody could commercialise hemorrhoids, you'd make piles of money. Right. Let's have a look at the next. Ooh, I do like that. So again, that P-Class is doing great guns. Always get great pictures shared with us. So thank you so much for sharing these with us. Right, so we're going to go back and let's just see now. J. Paul Anderson, yes, we now have your poster. It's just arrived. Paul Tilbrook, aka Skipsy Train, says good evening, Jenny and Zoe. Oh no, I thought for a moment there we'd lost the camera. Says, I hope you are well. Hooray! No hotel for me this week, as I have a week off work. So a week on the layout? Sadly not. Mrs. Skipsy has a long list of jobs for me. However, I will get more time on the layout than normal. The latest video focuses on the former train operating company East Midlands Trains, with its vibrant livery. Originally conceived as a Stagecoach Group video to include my South West train stock, in the end it only includes a Class 170 and a Class 158 from South West Trains. Spot the difference between this and the East Midlands Trains livery on the pair of 158s. Very subtle. The South West Trains fleet will have to wait for another day, but there will be more operator-focused videos over time. I hope you enjoy. So, let's just bring this up. Chuggity chug, chuggity chug, chuggity chug, chuggity chug. Right, it's just, it's doing its thing. So, East Midlands Trains, Skipsy Trains, let's just bring that up. Ginty Steam says, I'd like someone to get a Hornby austerity and make the disguised one from St. Trinian's train robbery, which I believe was trying to represent a J50. And I'm not entirely sure why they would try and disguise it as a J50. Ian Parker says, I had some really good conversation on tonight's Monday Club. Absolutely, always good for conversation. And don't forget to tickle the like button and share the stream as well. And if you aren't subscribed, do please consider hitting the subscribe button to make sure that you keep up to date. We've seen this layout develop over time. I love it, absolutely love it. And with all that back scene now in place, it really does look good. But a 4-track main line across a river on a viaduct really is quite an eye-catching centerpiece. Lots of people saying the same. James Pett says, oh, this viaduct. I remember this viaduct. It is a nice viaduct. Absolutely. I believe we can deduce from that that James Pett approves. So this is a Class 170. See, these are like, and it's like Class 170, Class 171, what, Class 173. Ooh, no, I don't know the difference. Really don't. Ginty Steam says, I think because there were 2 austerities, they probably thought audiences couldn't tell them apart, so they made one look different. So why didn't they use one of the other locomotives that were present? I know that there was a lot of J94s, or at the very least, the filmmakers could have hired a J50 from British Rail. And I doubt at the time that it would have cost a huge amount. And we could have ended up in a situation where J50s were being scrapped at the time. So they could have bought one for scrap value, run it there, and it could even have ended up in preservation as a result. You never know. Excuse me. I do love this river bridge. It's just got some great vistas. Josh's Railway Adventure says this layout is amazing and you have a great layout. It is very much. Flymo Chairman 1 says, wow, some bridge. Absolutely. Oh, HST. They do look good, actually. I must get one for Weir Yard at some point. So we've got a really good selection. Let's just check. So I'm just, yeah, it's nice to see the station area. We don't get to see that as much. Naive Gauge says, can anyone recommend a 1920 by 1080 webcam for live streams? Cupboard Monkey's the one to ask. We use Logitech ones. Can't tell you any more information, I'm afraid. Ginty Steam, they even derailed the austerity during their wacky stunts during the making. Did they do that on purpose? I can't remember. It's a long time since I've seen the Great St. Trinian's train robbery. Andy 1962 says, piles are not funny. Wait till you're my age and then you'll not be laughing. Pass the cream, matron. Yeah, I have bad arthritis and that's bad enough. James Pett says, for my Zoom calls, I actually use a proper camera. Yeah, it can be done. Just looking back. Simon Train's Mother Always showcases, I don't know the differences between a Class 1 7.3. They don't exist. I know nothing. I learned the trains from a book. So it's a lovely, lovely layout. And you can see the way the topography. Topography, it's great word. Come on, guys, write that down. Use it in everyday conversation where you can. But the topography with the valley sides going down into that river, really nicely done. And you can see it really does make an eye-catching centre feature. Stevie Film, absolutely. Full rake HST will bankrupt you. B2000 RO Toys channel says, would anybody love to see any of my custom model work so far? Absolutely. Do share that with us. If you send it to Zoe at zoerobinson.com, and that's Zoe spelt in the European way, which is Z-O-E. There is no Y on it. St Mary Church Model Railway, big hello to you. Thanks for joining us. Really great to see you. DJK666 says, time to head off. Great night. Great to have you aboard. So, oh, no. Come here. Oh, the computer's going to just start doing silly things. Oh, no, I got away with just catching caps lock. Oh, it nearly fell on the floor there. Silly thing. Right. So. Oh, we have lost another camera. Let's try 4. I don't know. Are we losing all the cameras? Are we getting anything on screen? We appear to have lost all the cameras. This displeases me. I do not approve in the slightest. Oh, we've number 4 is definitely there. So let's go back to number 4 just for a change. Okay, Richard Swiderski is next up with, let's have a look. This is, hi Zoe and Jenny, hope you're both well. Short video of a test run of Deltic locomotive D9000, which is 55022, with 47805 on the rear, passing Beeston for Tarporley Signal Box in Cheshire on the 22nd of September 2022. Yeah, Valley's 56XX confirms Land Rover cam okay. So we've, yeah, Land Rover and bunker cam was working. So we my phone's paused. Is anybody else finding that what is up with this? Hold on, come back you. Right, let's make that full screen. And there we go, Deltic test run in Cheshire. And whilst that runs, I'm just going to try and fix my phone. My phone is rubbish. So's our Wi-Fi, to be honest with you. Oh, I did. It's a nice livery, actually. I've got 55002 in that livery, as it ran with the rail tours. It was a Rails exclusive, and I got lucky and managed to get one of the ones which people had ordered and then not paid for. So there's probably about 4 or 5, and I was very lucky in getting in and getting one. It is a lovely livery. I do like the two-tone green. Richard Swiderski says, thanks for sharing my video. Well, look, thank you so much for sharing that with us, actually. Always Always a great to see. And it's a really good location, actually. Flyman Chairman says, yeah, we're doing fine out in the region, Jenny. Hee David Watts says, good evening, everyone. Have I missed much? Just me flying solo and making a hash of it. So, come here, you. So we're near the end, but Henry Van White is next up. And interestingly enough, stay tuned because we have got a review of some South African models, some from a wagon from CMD Models, and also a model kit from another company that I can see it over there, but I can't reach it to read what the manufacturer is. So we're going to be reviewing some South African Railways products, model products, and they'll be coming on Friday, so do stay tuned for those. This is Henry Van Wyk, and this is what's reminded me about the Friday video. So, let's get this running. And this is the Waterkloof HO Railway. A train is entering Bloemfontein station from Power and then continuing to Vlaketterplaas. We are privileged to ride in the cab with the engineer. Ooh. Wobbly. Ian Parker says, I got the Bachmann two-tone green. But definitely, with all the South African Railways models that we've shared over the last year or so, it's only natural that, yeah, Farmer Sharon says, I was going to say Henry Van Wyk, absolutely. It's going to be nice to actually take a good, well, I've already filmed it. It was nice to take a good close look at some of the products for the South African railway scene. And interesting, actually, I'm just having a look now to see if I can see those products in use on this layout. There was the coal gondola, was the wagon that they sent over, and then there was a blockhouse fort from the Boer War, was the building, laser cut MDF. I'm just curious whether there may be one on this layout. I'm really interested to see whether there is or not. David Watt says, I'm sure when I watch the show from the start in a short while, it will be great. Like button tickled. Thank you so much. FlyMyChem1 says, hit that like button, subscribe and share, folks. Absolutely. And don't forget as well, we've got a special on at the moment for my science fiction horror books, the Stars books. Oh, look. Hello. So that, I'm guessing, is Henry. So we're in the, sometimes with some of these cameras, they can be very finicky on light. I know our little bullet cam needs a lot of light. So I'm just going to move it, try and get us into the light. So the signal's set. Oh, hey, did you see that? It moved. Alfonso La Pulsa says, is there a baboon in that signal box? It is quite red. I think that's a reflection of a colour aspect signal. So I'm not seeing the model kits that I got sent for review. But thank you so much for sharing that with us. Great video. Always a pleasure. And really interesting to see the South African scene. So... So we've actually got quite a lot here. Pete Buss says, hi Zoe and Jenny, a shortish clip of the new build Baby Deltic D5910 on the turntable at Barrow Hill Roundhouse open day. So, right, bring this up. I am mindful that I'm absolutely camera 1 has broken. I've just noticed on my phone. So this is the Deltic, the Baby Deltic. They're actually building it from a Class 37. It's a genuine engine that they've managed to get, but they've kind of cut and shut a Class 37 and put it on, I think it's Class 20 bogies. Which is probably not that dissimilar to how the real ones were, being that they were made by English Electric as well, I believe. Were they brush traction? Ham Shackleton says, "Watch the time, Jenny. Nearly 9 p.m. Yeah. We'll see how we do. That's quite nice to see it paraded on the turntable there. It's the class that got away. There was no survivors, but it's really nice to see that out of the ashes, finding an original engine from the class that they are building a replica. And it's going to be great to see when it's all done and up and running. Logan Clary says, got to go early tonight, had a great time. You take care. It's been really nice having your company, and hopefully see you later. Flymer Chairman 1 says, class 58 sacrifice. No, class 37. Leslie Gilpin Railway says, Brush sold Sulzer designed engines. Yeah, Ruben Ashwell, nice turntable. It needs to be in a more windy place though. That was the Garsdale turntable. So really interesting. We've got that one panel with the number that's all painted up. English Electric with Napier Deltic engine. Only a single Deltic engine. I believe it was a different design to what was in the Class 55. B2000 RO Toys channel. You take care as well. It's been great having your company. But there you have it. So it's like this. It's just going round in circles. So thanks so much for sharing that with us. Hopefully I've found a camera that is working. I don't get to see until, because there's a delay on the feed. So I think we've run out of time. I'm afraid we've run out of time. So J. Paul Anderson, we do have your video, but we're going to carry that over till next week, along with all of the others that were still to go. We had a bumper crop of videos, and I don't believe it. So camera 4 has failed. So let's try camera 3. Tim Maslin says, Jennifer, have you ever been a member of your local model railway club? I've never joined a model railway club, it must be said. It's not my bag, I'm afraid. Now, one of the things I'm going to try and do is disconnect that. I'm going to try channel 5. It won't find anything. So I'm going to go back to channel 3. I'm going to plug that back in and see if we can get channel 5 back. I'm going to tune in for channel 5. So just got time for me to say, look, it's been great having your company. Sorry it's been a bit sketchy because I've been flying solo here because unfortunately the cupboard monkey has been ill. But look, you guys take great care of yourself. Until next week, and hopefully we'll sort out this camera issue. I'll get the cupboard monkey to reinstall the drivers again. But until next time, you take great care of yourself. Happy modelling. Bye for now. Apparently there's a train now departing from Weir Yard, calling at Meneth Tatus, Eindhoven, because it always does, somewhere else, Bolton Trinity Road. Yeah, if you want to get off there you can. We'll drive through really quickly, open the doors and kick you out. Yeah, lovely jubbly. And probably somewhere else as well. The cupboard monkey does it so much better than me. Good night, everybody.